Hello, this is Jason Heires. This is my Essential Albums Volume 9. Now we're already up to 9. Today's album we're going to talk about is by the band Stone Temple Pilots, and the album is called Tiny Music. This is the album cover. Actually, the full title of the album is Tiny Music, Tales from the Vatican Gift Shop. A very short album title. This is the Stone Temple Pilots' third album. It was released in 1996. It was produced by Brendan O'Brien, who was a big producer of a lot of grunge bands, including Pearl Jam and things like that. Matter of fact, he produced the very first Stone Temple Pilots album, and one of the hits off of that, Plush, I thought was a Pearl Jam song for a very long time until I found out it wasn't. But this is an album that I've always really had a lot of appreciation for. It's a really good, solid album. It's one of Stone Temple Pilots' best albums. Which one is their best album is, it's probably either Purple, this one, or Number 4. I don't know which one's the best one. It kind of depends. Number 4 is the sleeper one that on the surface doesn't seem as good as it is, but then when you listen to it a few more times, it really grows on you. But this is a good album. Some of my favorite songs is Pops Love Suicide, which that's the title, but in the song it goes, it's a love pop suicide. Tumble in the Rough is a really solid song. Big Bang Baby has a really moving kind of a driving riff that really drives it. I almost was going to do a thing where I played the riff for you, but I decided to skip that this time around. Tripping on a Hole in the Paper Heart's a really good song. Seven Caged Tigers, which is the very last song, is also really moving. So this is a good, solid album, and it probably should have been a bigger hit for Stone Temple Pilots than it was, but just as they were getting ready to go out in support of this album, one of Weiland's first issues with drugs really came into the fore, unfortunately, and it kind of derailed the momentum of this album. I think if they would have had a chance to tour more and build some momentum around this album, it might have done a little bit better. But, it's definitely worth checking out, and it's a very good album. I mean, Stone Temple Pilots, just about every album of theirs is worth having, even the latter ones, which the last two, Shangri-La-Dee-Da, and the last one, which is just the Stone Temple Pilots self-titled album. While they're not as good, they're still worth having. There is really no bad Stone Temple Pilots album. So, at least with Weiland on board. Weiland is definitely one of rock and roll's best singers, and I've mentioned this in some other videos, but he is a guy who almost can do the David Bowie thing with the multiple voices and the overdubbing with his own voice as good as Bowie did. Obviously, he was a big fan of Bowie, and it comes out, in when you listen to him sing, and you can definitely hear that on this album. Now, I've been trying to do a little educational segment with each one of these, or kind of an informational thing, so it kind of ties in. And I've been playing like little instrumental things, and today I'm just going to talk about something. And what I'm going to talk about is a song on this album called Ride the Cliche. Now, this is not one of the better songs on the album, but the reason why I'm mentioning it is because it's really talking about something that, if you've ever tried to write songs, is something that you run into all the time, which is, when you write a song, it's not only hard to not write a cliche in terms of copying something that somebody else has done or doing something that's just so common that it's been done 10 million times. It's also a thing where you can copy yourself and you can kind of recreate what you've already done before. And that can get really tricky. And this song kind of talks about that a little bit. And that's one of the things I can appreciate about this. Not only is it kind of a tongue-in-cheek poke at, the nature of writing a pop song, it also kind of is a poke at themselves for, hey, we're as guilty of this as anybody. And where you really hear that is there's this little tag riff that they do, which is like a really common Stone Temple Pilots tag riff where it goes dent 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 dent. And it does it quite a few times during the song. But the whole point of that is that's a really cliche Stone Temple Pilots kind of musical thing that they like to do a lot on their albums. So, and that's kind of a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing. And I appreciate the fact that they have a sense of humor about themselves. And I also fully understand that when you're a songwriter and you're trying to find something to communicate, it is really easy to plagiarize yourself. And it is really hard to come up with something that's completely unique. Believe me, I try. But, you know. Anyway, I think that's really going to be it for today. Please leave a comment, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one, guys. Bye.